The following programme may contain adult themes, strong language, and some nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM. The Josh Widdicombe XFM podcast.
Live from the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
I'm just going to make a quick intro and then we'll get on with the show. The way this is going to work is, I do this every night. I still haven't got the confidence to go through with this bit. So can you lie? And I'm going to say cheer if you've heard the radio show. And if you haven't, shout out like you have anyway. Who here has heard the XFM show? Bloody hell, that's a good response. Let's just check how true that was. Honestly, who has heard it? Half of you. That's far better than I thought it was going to be. The way this is going to work is it's an hour and a half, and we've got a panel of regulars and guests who are very, very funny comedians, and we have taken in your anecdotes and strange scribblings on those pieces of paper. We'll be coming to you on them. Each of our guests has a regular feature they'll be doing. It's going to be a great night. Are we excited? Good. This is the last one, and we've had a brilliant run, so don't fucking let us down, yeah? So are you ready to welcome onto the stage the guests? Start the clapping and welcome Matthew Crosby, Nish Kumar, James Acaster, and tonight's guest, Ivo Graham. And for the first time in public, producer Neil is here as well, the producer of the radio show. One of you will have to fill while I piss around with the microphones.
Morning.
All right, everyone.
Nish?
Do you say your own name? Is that your idea of...
I do not improvise well.
Is everyone good?
Very well, thanks, Josh.
Good.
Yeah, boy.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything? Neil, hello?
Hi.
Can I just make clear the T-shirts were sent to us by a fan of the show, and we aren't just six of the weirdest men on the...
What a terrible coincidence we all showed up dressed like this.
They are things we've said, and they were sent to us.
I'm always saying guest. Every guest. Yeah.
Even in your own home.
Neil, you've been staying up here for 4 days now. You're staying in Airbnb.
Yeah.
Because Radio Pay doesn't pay as well.
No, there's a bucket at the end, like the free fringe.
And that's where Neil lives.
How's your experience been?
It was all right until yesterday. So basically, I just have a room in a flat, and
Imagine. Living in a flat in a room in it.
and the first night I arrived, the door on the other room was shut, and that was fine. And then I got home after the show, and I heard two people having sex, which was lovely. And they'd left the next morning, so I didn't get to know them.
In many ways, you did get to know them. Yeah.
Yeah, you know them better than you ever wanted to in many ways.
I couldn't picture them.
No matter how many websites I visited on their very weak Wi-Fi connection.
And then
A strange search of Airbnb porn.
Shout out something descriptive. Give me something to work with. I love pulling your long blonde hair. That's good. What about her eyes, mate? What about her eyes?
So anyway, they'd left, and I went out for the day, and I went back the next night, and again the door was shut, so someone else had clearly moved in. So I went to sleep, and the next morning...
You didn't knock on the door and go, get on with it.
It's 9 o'clock. Time for you know what.
and the next morning I woke up and kind of felt like I was in a horror film because I could hear a piano being played, and I didn't know the flat had a piano in it. And
There was a piano in the other room.
Well, it was in the living room, which I hadn't explored.
Right.
Explored is a strong term, what people do to a living room. Let's go on an adventure.
Famous five.
You were too busy listening to those people have sex.
And then, so I kind of came out of my room, went for a shower, got back into my room, and suddenly there was a knock on the door. So I answered it in a T-shirt and a towel, and there was a German family.
Smart casual.
Every detail in this story is great. Absolutely brilliant.
And then, so there was a German family who wanted to introduce themselves, and there was a mother, a dad, and a small boy who just...
And you know how that boy was made. Oh, yeah.
He just pushed past me and sat on my bed.
Okay.
And wanted to practice his English. And I had to tell him to leave because I was just in a towel and a T-shirt, which was weird.
And then the dad asked you why you were wearing a towel on your upper half and a T-shirt on your lower half.
So that was pretty weird, but then also I kind of then went back that night and turned on the lamp next to the bed, which had been a normal light bulb, but someone had changed it for a red light bulb, so it was like I was living in a brothel.
Oh, yeah.
So who do you think that was? The German boy? Or?
Yeah, he was on the bed, just craftily. You distract him, Dad. Red light bulb trick, welcome to the house.
What is English for? Let's make this sexy.
Let's make this energy saving. Playing Marvin Gaye on the piano.
So I'm looking forward to going back tonight.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about it. Well, this is the last show, so we'll never speak again. We will. Now, there are two topics we asked you for tonight. Fainting stories and times you've embarrassed your parents. We should throw it open to the panel, first of all.
I've got one for both. Because a couple of years ago...
Is it a 2-for-1 that you fainted and embarrassed your parents?
Yeah, both.
Brilliant.
Right. I had a fever, and I'd been sort of in bed, just chilling out, just reading some sports magazines, all of the Harry Potters, and, just like a legend would. And
what do you mean, sports magazines?
that's how badly I improvise.
What were you reading?
One of these sports magazines! One of the football dailies.
Was it called Nish?
No, it was called Josh.
Say what you see.
So, you're in bed.
So I was in bed, and I'd been in bed for a while, for most of the day, because I was feeling really ill. And then I needed to do a wee, and I got up, and people laughing at wee.
This is
you know what I did it out of as well, guys? Talking about my danglers. Now...
Danglers? You've got plural penises.
It's peni.
I stand corrected. I can't wait for the after-show party.
Nish does that cross swords thing, but just with himself.
You say that cross swords thing like... What's a cross swords thing?
It's where one person is peeing and then another person pees in the same urinal that they're peeing in.
But you cross swords.
Why?
To be fair, of the many things he could have suggested doing with two penises, that is the most innocent version. I think we can all be very grateful for that.
You're also obliged to shout the phrase "Don't cross the streams," which is really one.
Love everything about it.
Fans. So I'd been in bed for a couple of days, and what I didn't realise is that when you're ill and you've been lying down for a long time, sometimes it can take your heart a little bit longer to get up to its usual rate for when you're standing up. The other thing that I didn't realise...
How much did your heart increase in rate when you stand up?
Well, it's incremental unless you're also expelling a lot of energy from your body through your dangler, brackets S.
Sorry, this is just starting to feel like school, Nish.
So I got to the toilet, began the process of pissing, and the sugar leaving my body caused me to have an energy low. So I fainted in the middle of a piss. And on my way down, I was like, I'm taking everything with me. I grabbed the toilet roll holder. That immediately came away from the wall. I was also wearing some tracksuit bottoms that didn't really, there was no option to just undo a fly. So I was kicking it old school. They were around my ankles.
What?
So
you were doing a piss like a 3-year-old child.
My parents were downstairs. They heard a commotion, and my dad opened the door to see me lying on my back with my trousers around my ankles, covered in my own piss, holding the toilet roll holder, and he did not look surprised.
Yeah. Were you awake by this point?
Yeah, I suddenly came back into consciousness and thought, I wish I was dead.
Wow. Any on this side on either?
Nothing on double-barreled Kumar.
I've never fainted.
What?
No, never fainted.
No, really?
Well, that's good. Crosby?
Well, I was told earlier on by someone who works for XFM that I said, is this story funny? And they said, I told them the story. They said, well, it ends with you on the floor with your trousers around your ankles, crying, bleeding out your head, and your wife finds you. No, not funny. So, skipping that story.
Let's move on! Have you got any from the audience, Ivo?
There's so many. It's all gold. I may say it's all gold. Some people have really... It's not... I think that's a lovely audience. Too guilty just not to give their cards back. So, for example, Brian V's just written fainting stories, none of interest. Times you embarrassed your parents, too many, but they no longer remember. Which is the equivalent of the no text missing on a card. So
You spoiled your ballot paper.
None of interest.
Well, let's have one before we properly go into the features.
this is quite fun. This is a Lydia Munton. Lydia Munton.
Lydia Munton?
Now we've got
Is
quite.
she here?
Oh no, hang on. We're only doing fainting stories, but this is
No, it can be any.
well because fainting stories. It's a bit like then says read below. So I'm just trying to follow the narrative here. So then you go to times you embarrassed your parents. I'm not sure she actually fainted here, but it's a very funny story. My mum works at a sex clinic, which is fine. That's
not it.
No. Now, this is possibly the best use of the phrase, I got her days off wrong, that you've ever heard in a story. I got her days off wrong, went in, and my name was called, and I went round the corner to be greeted by a very unhappy face.
Oh.
We investigate that one further, and then fainted, presumably.
Yes, Lydia Munton?
Munton! Sorry, I don't know you.
So what had happened, Lydia?
She got her bloody days off wrong.
So what did your mum say? Did you go through with the appointment?
Right.
Oh, so you weren't called to your mum?
Here's my thing about this. Now, I've not got a great lifetime experience in sexually transmitted diseases. Keep it clean, keep it real. But I...
That's the first line of Ivo's Tinder profile. Swipe left, ladies. Swipe left.
Because I will. But were I to get an STD or I'd go, and my mother worked in a sex clinic, I'd go different clinic. I wouldn't risk that, you know...
Because you presumably have co-workers.
Yeah. She doesn't work Tuesdays. Are we fine?
Not even checking.
So did you ever discuss it with her, Lydia? No. So it's never been brought up since?
And she's here tonight!
Right, we'll come back to these.
Lydia, did the STI rhyme with your name?
He did it.
I'm so sorry, but I literally waited for everyone else to make that joke, and when they didn't, and Josh tried to move on, I thought, it's open goal. Which, that had nothing to do... Anyway, let's just... sorry, I've been unnecessarily mean to you, Lydia. You seem like a really lovely person. Great to meet you.
Now, Matthew Crosby, it is your turn to take
my
some stage
turn.
with your feature that you bring to the show. And each night, you're a huge fan of celebrity autobiography, and each night you've brought us a reading from a celebrity autobiography. So far, we've had...
We have had, so far, we had Lauren Goodyear, whose book I've read, but I don't know who she is. We had Richard and Judy, Richard's vasectomy, which proved a bit much for last night's audience to take.
And we had Cliff Richard, who we're not allowed to discuss due to the numerous legal slurs we brought up.
Suffice to say, Neil did a lot of editing that night. Because we didn't do any. So I was going to actually, the one I wanted to, I bought this the other day on Penge High Road in a charity shop. I wanted to read from Cheryl Cole, Through My Eyes, but it turns out that what's going on through her eyes is a lot of fucking pictures, every page is a picture, every
page is a poster.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Although she does say, I do like this, she talks about supporting the Black Eyed Peas, and she says, I don't do anything in my life by halves, so I didn't want to go out on stage with just a mic stand. Yet, no performer wants to go out with a mic stand and no form of amplification to back that. But anyway, so that's hers. Instead, I've decided to pick from one of two Richard Hammond books. Now,
Both by Richard Hammond?
Both by Richard Hammond. He's written 3 books about himself, which seems a bit much. The first one, On the Edge...
That's because... No, I'm not going to make that joke.
Yeah. So
But
the
I
first
know
one...
exactly the joke you're going to make. That's
Yeah.
a good joke. Good joke. Well done, mate.
And so did the whole audience.
Yeah.
And as one, they all went, I respect you for not making that joke, Josh, but I've now made it in my head. You're a very funny man.
I was a bit lost in the cards. Could we do it again?
So the first book he wrote was obviously On the Edge, My Story, which was obviously about the crash, the big crash he had. So I read that, bit dry, not so many funny bits in that, how he managed to rebuild his life. And they clearly realised this for the second book that he brought out. In fact, no, it's the third, or is that just me? It's got a very similar cover, him just pulling a sensible face, except that the second one comes with stickers. Includes stickers to poke fun at the short bloke off of Top Gear. I really hope they told him they were doing that. But anyway, what I've decided to do is I'm going to read you 3 little sections, folks, and we're going to play a game that I have devised called What Hammond Next? I'm going to...
Already a success.
Already a success, yeah.
I hope...
None of them start with him saying, I got into the jet car, gave the double depots, and off I went! That's not...
Do you still have the stickers?
I still got the stickers, yeah. We can have fun with those, in
need
just
to
a moment.
complete my collection. I really need a wreckage shiny.
The first of, I believe, many jokes of that ilk we will get during this game. So let's start with. I tell you what. Let's start with. This is quite a fun one. This is from Afraid of Being 40, the introduction to the book itself. There is a simple solution available to those people who are on the telly and who complain about people stopping them in the street because they recognise them. Don't be on the telly. Personally, I fail to see how you can be on TV and then complain when people watch it. And so it's part of life's daily goings-on that people will say, hi, stop me in the street, ask about people they see me working with on the box, observe that I'm taller, shorter, older, younger in real life than they expected, or what's the final thing that people in the street say to Richard Hammond? And it's not...
Right, OK.
Yeah, it's printable. So, see, what do you think?
Who is the Stig? Do they ask him that?
Yeah.
That's a serious guess.
It is not who is the Stig. That's not one of... He talks about the big questions he gets asked, and it's what's the best car you've ever driven? And the other one is, did you really do that, or did you fake it for telly? And you'll have to read the books to find out.
Clarkson's jokes.
Yeah.
Do you think BNP or UKIP are a better solution to this country's ills?
That's more believable than the answer. Anyone else got any final ones?
It's difficult. It's tough.
He says, he claims, this is happening regularly enough for him to put it into a book, or beg me to talk to their wife on the phone because, and I quote, she really fancies you, mate, and it would make her day if you woke her up and said it was you. Who is this woman who sleeps in all day
On the off chance.
on the off chance that Richard Hammond is going to call?
Who is this bloke who goes, I'll tell you what, my wife fancies this bloke, I should put them in touch.
Oh, that reminds me, actually, just talking of sexy things. When I was thumbing through this Cheryl Cole book earlier on, Josh sidled up to me and said, "I would love to have a stolen night with her." Oh, I would love to have a stolen night with. Oh, the things I would do to her. A stolen night? Are you a medieval gents? Yeah.
I was using the phrase ironically.
Kidnapper, Widdicombe.
Okay, let's do another one here. You talk about this is from Around the World with Top.
Wow.
Around the World with Top Gear Live. In one sequence, we had a performing low-rent tribute to Evel Knievel. It called for me to ride out in a ridiculous fat suit and perform a tribute jump to my hero, the greatest devil of them all, Mr. E. Knievel. There is... That's how he calls him, Mr. E. Knievel.
Idiot.
of Edgbaston. There is... Who writes it to say? No, he says, there is, I discovered, a technique to what? And it's not driving a car without flipping over.
I'm going to go with laughing at Jeremy Clarkson's jokes again.
Yeah.
You just imagine a different joke from a better man.
Wriggling out of any punishment due to your blatant racism.
Shit just got real.
This has brought out to a political side to Acaster that I did not know.
I can't tell you how much I hate Top Gear and everyone on it. I hate them so much.
You must be loving this feature.
Once they drove to Chernobyl, as that was their little funny little challenge. They went, we're going to drive there and see. We went basically to try and run out of petrol. And if you don't run out of petrol, you've got to drive through Chernobyl. It's not funny, is it? It's not funny. Where loads of people died? Yeah. We're a bunch of lads.
You've still got to get there somehow, though, haven't you?
Yeah, you have to get there somehow.
What's the answer, Crosby?
The actual answer is, there is, I discovered a technique to performing a low-rent comedy motorcycle jump with a bad hip joint following a low-speed fall off a horse on your wife's Land Rover keys that wrenched your sacri whatever joint because you were too mean to pay for a properly fitting hacking jacket.
We'd have been hard pushed to get that word perfect.
I thought I gave you all the clues necessary. This is the final one we're going to do, and this is an astounding revelation about Richard Hammond, and my favourite thing I learned from reading his second or possibly third book. The thing is, though, there are just some likes and dislikes that the chap can't explain or justify.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
This has all the makings of something I should be leaving the panel for. Some people are white. Other people are wrong. It's fine, though, because his nickname's the Hamster.
Very cute guy. So, here we go. So it's only going to get worse for you, Nish, but it isn't that. So he can't, likes and dislikes that a chap can't explain or justify, but that are more deeply rooted in his soul than the desire to breathe or reproduce. I cannot bear, for instance, to see what? Now, bear in mind, these are things that are deeply rooted in his soul, more deeply than the desire to breathe.
It's going to be something car-based, isn't it? It's going to be like a Ford Capri or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It is not a Ford Capri.
A nuclear fallout zone without a petrol station.
Someone cleaning a window with their hands.
I'll back up, and here you go. So, more deeply rooted in his soul than the desire to breathe or reproduce. I cannot bear, for instance, to see packets of dried pasta in the kitchen. It's not that I don't enjoy a plate of pasta, or that I connect the sight of the stuff in its dry state with some ghastly childhood linguine incident. The sight just depresses me, and it doesn't, quite frankly, bear analysis. It is a cracking book. It is an absolutely cracking book.
Do you think you were struggling to reach the word count?
Almost certainly.
No, that was the first anecdote in. The rest of the book is all filler.
Probably what? Yeah, got the book.
So that was it. That's is it just me?
Thank you very much, Matthew Crosby.
Cheers.
Now, Ivo, let's get back to the audience interaction.
Yes, quite a lot of these. I've sort of lost count of what the sort of piles represent, but it's all good. Fainting. Yep, absolutely. Okay, right. So how about
what is the system you've got?
I'm not quite sure if
John Robbins is here. Hello, John Robbins.
Hello, John.
Hello, John. Brilliant.
John
That was embarrassing. Only I applauded Robbins coming in.
John will be joining us for the rest. So John has another XFM show with Ellis James, who can't be here.
Yes, we have the X Sunday now, the Josh slot.
Saturday, we've swapped.
Yeah.
I
think it's still called Saturday, to be fair, by a lot of people.
Ivo, any fainting stories or moments you've embarrassed your parents?
Patrick, fainting. Unexpectedly blacked out while cycling. Now you're going, where's he cycling? Cable Street, East London. It's a very geographic. My favourite parenthesis. Put the postcode next time, Patrick, please. How am I meant to recreate the moment in my own life? I don't know exactly where on Cable Street it was. I was scooped up by some old-school EastEnders who gave me a beer and settled me down. They were little...
This sounds like his life was changed.
Well, it sounds like he was helped by Mark Fowler.
Yeah.
And I was brought up as one of their own.
He hasn't left Cable Street since. They were little help with my nasty road rash, though.
Road rash?
From fainting off the...
yeah.
Oh, I guess we better bring in
Road
Patrick.
rash.
Patrick, you here?
Yeah, where are you sitting exactly?
There's Patrick.
What happened? Where is Cable Street, Patrick? Just north of Commercial
To be fair, I think
Road.
you've got to blame the question asker as well in that respect. It's not like you gave him gold to work with. He literally responded correctly. So
One person at the back genuinely laughed like a bully then.
Yeah.
Who looks like an idiot now?
My friend Nelson Muntz is here. Good uptake for that Simpsons reference.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Duly noted.
I'd love to...
Any more, Ivo?
Yeah, okay, yes. Jonathan, this is just funny because he's got the name of...
What subject?
Fainting. The story's sort of not huge. It's not bad, but it's what he's called the film. Watching 128 Days Hours at the cinema.
That suggests you fainted halfway through one film and woke up during another. I guess it's this. 128 Days Hours, great. And a baby.
I thought that was just a really negative review of the film. 128 hours, more like 128 days, am I right?
It's quite a grim film, isn't it? That'll be why they're fainting.
Yeah,
Yeah, did you faint during the arm cutting off scene? Yeah, during that bit.
Not the opening credits.
Are you quite?
Well, he's just having a good time.
Are you quite squeamish? Not the film for you.
Right, I've got another one.
Yeah.
Can we just keep plowing through these? We're hit.
All right.
What the fuck, mate?
Are you being paid on commission here? Is this
We could have had a lot of fun with
I've got to meet
Jonathan.
my targets. I've got to shift these units.
But this reeks of someone who's been priming the audience with fake answers for his own comedy. It's like, just move on, he can't improvise. Move on, move on.
Absolutely not. It's just I'm hitting top speed and I like to enjoy the moment.
Which, by the way, is in Richard Hammond's first book.
Okay, Ivo.
George.
Ivo.
This must be exaggerated. George, cutting my leg off with a chainsaw. What? Well, exactly.
Jonathan, how you feeling, mate?
Should try cutting
he's
off
just
with a
watching
Lebanon.
127 days, weeks, hours. He's living it.
George, are you here? No?
Come on.
Oh, I mean...
Answer this. You can be on the last leg next week.
She's got some sweet hookups.
He's just thought about the guy cutting his leg off.
Muntz is back.
So is George with the chainsaw leg here?
Stand up, mate.
Dead.
You what, sorry?
Yeah, I'm getting the feeling George is a liar. Is that right?
What is it? But so many, it's unbelievable. Someone's claiming, Annie is claiming that she won the lottery.
Whoa.
Is that true?
In brackets, big time.
Josh, are your audiences now so big that it's statistically likely that one of them will be a lottery winner?
Lottery winners and amputees. That's all they are. And
the target demo.
quite a lot of shitters, to be fair, on these cards.
And Annie? Is Annie here?
No.
Oh, this is just someone making them all up.
Yeah.
Ivo, take some control of the event.
Yeah.
You're just now going through cards and not even reading them.
I like Helen's
right.
technique there to get rid of her own surname.
Yeah,
wrote her full name and properly etched into
You
the
could probably
card.
see what length she's gone to not be identifiable there, because she doesn't want anyone to know that a maths teacher. Oh, no, fair play. Let's go more low key. The big stories aren't working out. Amy Clark, I'm fortunate enough never to have fainted. Fine, on we go. Simple. Don't need to verify that.
Another spoilt ballot paper.
Ivo, have you got any in this? What is your table?
I don't know.
Are you panicking?
Yeah, I'm finding it quite stressful. Admittedly, as a role.
That person's name is Monty Gimple. That's not true. You're all liars today.
Is Monty Gimple... I never thought I'd say this, but... Is
Monty Gimple.
Is Monty Gimple here?
Yes, I'm Monty Gimple, and I happen to be a one-legged lottery winner. What of it?
or M. Gimple, as Richard Hammond would call them.
Mr. M. Gimple to you, yes. Is Monty Gimple here?
Like Pocklington.
James.
James
Pocklington's War.
Yeah.
Sorry, James.
Did we give these cards to the queue of a different show?
Some sort of weird cartoon.
Paul Foot performing next door.
There'd be a
any
certain
other
poetic
surrealist.
quality to this if you fainted during the effort.
I'm certainly embarrassing my parents by doing this and not doing law.
Ivo, stop.
Jason Dawson.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, but he did no fainting. He's left fainting. So can we skip to embarrassing parents?
Yeah, it can be anything. Ivo, at this point, I'll take anything.
To be fair, I've given
Sounds like you at 2 a.m.
Getting ready for a stolen night?
And then a quick trip to Lydia's mum's clinic afterwards.
Jason Dawson bragged to my times you embarrassed your parents. Bragged to my mum about having an erection in PE when I was 8.
Lovely use of bragged.
You didn't read that out. Just read it out. Articulate it a bit more.
Bragged to my mum about having an erection in PE when I was 8.
Oh,
Wow.
geez,
Jason, are you here?
Jason.
Where are you, Jason? So, what happened, Jason? Were you 8 when you told her, or was it like... Last week you said you're not going to... By the way, the highlight of my childhood, we were playing rounders and... I mean, it wasn't... I know you're not going to carry the bat to the next...
Didn't get to any base.
Jason, what happened, Jason? So you were turned on by anything.
Yeah. So but you understood the concept of bragging to your mum.
Bragging. I love bragging.
So
Walking in. Hey, Mum, you know you said I would never be able to do it.
PE. Well, I did. So well, I aroused myself.
What was the phrase you used to describe it? Presumably you didn't know it was called an erection.
You said your willy got bigger in PE and all the girls were pointing at. Oh!
I love the fact that at that moment you thought you had the world's most unique superpower.
And then another kid got it. We had parallel bars.
So what was the PE lesson?
You nailed pole vault.
What was it?
Did you reach the finish?
Running round.
I love the fact that you're worried this might become a class issue.
A damning indictment of the educational system, I'll say that much.
People just started yelling out countries. It doubled as geography.
So it's just running round?
Which just made matters worse.
Which only made the erection situation worse.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry, I can tell you that.
You should have covered for it by taking an impromptu lesson on obtuse and acute angles.
So what happened? So the hairdresser laughed.
Oh. Never good to cry with an erection. That's never been a
never
fun story.
Never good, but hard not to, really. Hard not to.
Well, that's astonishing. One more, Ivo. James, can you take a bit of control of the situation?
Well, you know,
I showed you that one.
He's all over the shop, mate.
I love the fact that he's oscillating between complete chaos and going, can we speed this along, please, guys? Can we just get a move on?
Ivo,
Are you ready?
If they're not good, just throw them on the floor. If they're good, keep them on the table.
This feels like babysitting now for Ivo. It really feels...
I mean, okay. Right. I think this is the one. You know when we talked earlier about the greatest fainting story ever on the roadshow? Someone's either in tribute to it, just written out again, or it's the same person.
Oh wow! So what's the name?
Paul Doctor. I think it is. I think it's the real one.
Is it the real person?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. So you happen to have been here, right? So
also, side issue was meant to come to my show tonight, and then tweeted saying you weren't going to bother. But never mind. That's fine.
As a side issue, what?
tweeted saying, "Oh, not coming anymore." So that's fine. It's fine.
So is this the real Paul from when we did this as a subject on the radio? Yeah, and we discussed it in Glasgow.
You are really dining out on this one story, mate.
Well,
Put another fucking record on, Doctor.
I love this record. Okay, it's all I live for. I love it so much that he's given a shortened version. I can give the full version.
Okay.
Ivo, you know that you can get him back now by building up you're going to read it and then not bothering to read it.
I'm not really a revenge guy. I just love fainting anecdotes.
I wouldn't be as nice, Doctor.
Here we go.
I can't be
Fainting anecdote from Paul Doctor.
I fainted after sucking all of the helium out of a balloon at the opening of a branch of Shoe Express.
Mr. Doctor, I owe you a massive apology. That is a good story.
What, were you really excited that you had the Shoe Express at last? Or?
What town are you from?
Montrose. Oh, from the football results.
From the football results.
So what did you? Were you attending especially?
Were you on a proper night out? Like, hey lads, the Shoe Express is on it.
What was your plan? Were you going to just... You just wanted a high voice for a laugh? Were you going to... Right.
What, you've reached top pitch?
Yeah.
Were you trying to win favour with an unruly dog?
Who sadly can't wear shoes. So...
Helium doesn't work on you, does it?
No, that is something I can't. However much helium, we tried it on the Pappy podcast.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't make my voice go
You
higher.
could be the cure we're looking for. In the worst disaster movie of all time. Josh Widdicombe's the only hope we've got to stop these people being so high-pitched.
Yeah. He's only got 127 days, weeks, hours to save the town.
Right now, we have. I think we should move on from the Shoe Express anecdote. It was a fucking good one, but
Good.
I
Really nice.
I bet you when you turned up to this, you couldn't believe your fucking luck when you saw fainting stories on that piece of paper.
To be fair, it also works for Shoe Express stories and balloon stories.
Now, Nish, it is your chance to take some stage.
Hi, Joshua. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well. Good morning. Or is it? 3 ironic cheers. And one man who put his hand up like this.
Good to see Malcolm X in.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a race thing. I have no idea. So this is Nishopedia, the section where I bring to light a conspiracy theory. I am a fan of conspiracy theories, but not a believer in them. And then we put it to vote. Producer Neil decides if it goes in Nishopedia or not. Now, this is my favourite ever Nishopedia.
Sorry about that loud opening of a can. But I'm really looking forward to this.
Something more menacing than hearing a man slowly open a can while you prepare an anecdote. That is one of the most difficult moments in anyone's day. So this is my all-time favourite Nishopedia. Regular listeners will probably be familiar with this, but I enjoy it too much and thought I would share it with a live audience. I can just sum it up in one line. Saddam Hussein owned a Stargate. Now... This really is the Mac Daddy of all of the conspiracy theories we've ever done on Nishopedia. It was the first one that we did, and there's no way to explain it other than to read you this whole article. Imagine this scenario. The US government obtains intelligence that hidden somewhere in central Iraq is an actual Stargate, as opposed to these fictitious ones that have been left lying around that we all know about.
Can I just, for people that don't know, what are we saying is a Stargate?
Oh, a Stargate is a big gate.
It sounds plausible now. It actually does sound like you might own a Stargate.
If you haven't seen Stargate because you were having sex, it's essentially a movie where there's a giant big gate that allows you to travel between worlds.
And who's this S. Hussein figure?
He was the villain in the movie Hot Shots Part 2.
Oh, great reference.
and also in the Iraq War and terrorism.
Was he the villain in that?
Yes.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
He absolutely was, Josh.
He definitely was, yeah.
Stick to noticing things, Widdicombe. Stick to... Who is Saddam Hussein?
This is not the time for you to try edgy comedy.
Feeling sorry for him.
Imagine this scenario. The US government obtains intelligence that somewhere in Central Iraq is an actual Stargate, placed there by the Anakarni gods of ancient Sumeria. With time running out, President Bush invades Iraq. American scientists raise the museum and close the Stargate, thus frustrating the grandiose ambitions of the self-styled reincarnation of Nebuchadnezzar, Saddam Hussein. Is this the sequel to the movie Stargate? Is it a new episode of the TV series? Is it a new Star Trek movie? No, it's none of these. According to Dr. Michael Saller, and this is the key sentence, it's probably exactly what happened. Now, probably exactly is an absolutely extraordinary pair of words to be jammed together. It's also the original title of Oasis's debut album.
I love every conspiracy theory should start with the words imagine.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what they all are.
Also, the other thing I love about this is finding a Stargate. The first two questions are, is it from the movie Stargate? Is it from the TV show Stargate? Is it from Star Trek? Like there's been some sort of weird star-based crossover. Did C-3PO fall out of it? Anyway.
Could you sing the article in the style of Imagine?
It's what we all wanted.
Is it just alternate lyrics, fan fiction for John Lennon?
I can't do that. So that's the theory, that Saddam Hussein had been harbouring a Stargate the entire time, and that's the real reason that there was no... the justification for the Iraq War was sort of cooked up, because the real story was that he was concealing a Stargate. Now, what I didn't do the first time...
Maybe that's where he put the WMDs, am I right? What has happened to me?
You are... Mate, just talk about sandwiches or some shit. Oh, it's bread on top of bread. Oh.
Josh was saying earlier that he'd love to show Cheryl Cole his weapon of mass destruction.
I can't wait for your next DVD where you come out and go, have you ever noticed how when the plane was coming into the second tower...
Why was there no crash site at the Pentagon? We need answers.
And what's with tower number 9? I mean, it was an inside job.
Your impression of Josh is basically...
excellent.
No, it's Alan Partridge 2 octaves higher.
Because helium works on Alan Partridge.
Alan Partridge at a Shoe Express.
Which is exactly where he would
love it. He would love it.
So, if you scroll down into the comments, which I hadn't done before, there's various people who are questioning this, but not in any way that you would think. Because obviously your first question is, why would anyone say this? But not the users of conspiracy.org. The commenter whose name is Informant says, maybe someone left the Stargate there. Yep, that's pretty much a description of that. So this is one from Nebel Refrain. The problem is
that
now...
sounds like someone weird trying to... Is Nebel Refrain?
Where's Nebel Refrain? Stand up, you one-legged bastard. Where are you, mate?
Friends of Monty Gimple? Arm in arm, Nebel Refrain and on Monty Gimple.
You know these are all just pseudonyms for Sean Collins.
That's a deep cut there, Robin. Deep cut. There's one here from Jay Widdicombe. This all seems very plausible.
Right, let's move it to the end of this bit. Are you buying it?
Do I believe that Saddam Hussein had a Stargate? Is that what you're asking me?
Seems so.
I think from your tone, you've already answered.
Well, if I haven't made the case strongly enough, this user has a very, very persuasive argument. He just put, I mean, come on, he had a very deep voice.
I've been won over. Yes. I'm going to say no, because I'm not completely sure what he used it for. What are they even accusing him of?
That he was going to use the Stargate to basically invite in a load of aliens to invade the Earth and
he never
elect
got
him
to.
as the new president of the universe.
He never got to use it.
Never got to use it because old Johnny Bush and Terry Blair's.
What?
I don't improvise well.
Andy Zaltzman is not shitting himself about this podcast, I don't think.
Well, I think that draws a line under the conspiracy theory. Are we going to rule it out, Neil?
No, we're keeping it in.
We're keeping it in.
That's the best one.
It is. So we're saying it's true.
Neil believes it's true.
I think it's true.
Yep.
Yeah. Doubting me?
No, Joe, what, mate? Absolutely not. You're going through a rough patch at the minute with a red light bulb and some people having sex next door to you. I will let you have anything you want at this point.
Right, let's get back to the audience. Thank you very much, Nish Kumar. Ivo, I see you've tidied up a bit.
A bit. Yeah, we're down to about 8 piles now. We're on to times you've embarrassed your parents.
Okay.
This is quite fun. From Ollie Bell.
Ollie Bell?
If he's
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, no, somebody put their hand up.
Over there?
There he is.
Ollie Bell.
The bell end.
Oh, Nish.
What? I thought that would be a fun, bantery nickname.
Yeah.
I've been reading too
To be
much.
fair, let's listen to the story and see how real that nickname could be. Right. There's the story. Not to preface it, the story is amazing, and it's got the most beautiful little postscript. Caught by Dad having sex with Heinz baked beans still in the tin. And then we'll come back to that.
Yeah, because otherwise it wouldn't have been embarrassing.
No.
You don't have to leave the beans in.
This isn't the embarrassing bit. This is just a lovely, now known just as Heinz.
It's like a gritty British remake of American Pie. I love it.
I think that's
What,
also,
Ollie is now known as...
No. Oh, right. So I thought he meant that. I thought he was just giving up an update of what the beans were called. Sorry.
Also,
Caught with my dick in a bag of opal fruits. Now Starburst.
fucking a marathon.
Can I just ask, why? Why were you fucking a tin of beans? It seems too dangerous. If I was going to fuck beans, I would scoop them into a Tupperware or something with rounded edges.
Just fill a sock with them.
Fill a sock with beans, mate. Yeah, we've all been there. Yeah.
I'd fill a sock with them and then have like a elastic band that I could just wear as a belt and then...
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't you have just got a boner in PE like a normal guy?
So how old were you, Ollie?
18!
I like that he said 16 and then moved himself up to legal age.
Now there are 58 different varieties.
Are you worried that there's a different age of consent for beans?
Just waiting for his birthday.
Oh, God, we don't want Ollie to be pulled in by U-Tree over this. So you're 18? No, we're sticking with you, Ollie.
Is that what you said to the beans before you started?
So what happened, Ollie? Oh! So what's your name, Ollie's mate?
Heinz.
His name is
Bill?
Heinz.
Will.
Ambrosia, that would be my nickname.
What?
Just better.
Now we know how they make it so creamy. Apologies.
Devon knows how they make it.
So Will, where were you, Will? Were you 18, Will? Is this not...
Which one of you, and I never thought I'd be asking this question, which one of you two fucked the beans?
Or is this another story that involves the phrase cross swords?
Let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. Another one, Ivo?
Okay.
I'd like to see Ivo present a game show. Just love the idea. And the next question is, oh God, okay, it's a very difficult system.
I don't think the audience give the questions on the way into the recording of the game show, Nish. Okay, it's actually quite a difficult live environment. How long's that scrape been knocking around? Because I actually think it was the first scrape you told on the Josh Widdicombe podcast several months ago. So that's fine. The thing is, I'm not just
I'm the one who does the scrapes, mate. Back off.
The thing,
Or are you?
oh God.
This has got
fuck you, people.
This has got really ugly. Can you come down and fuck some beans just to sort of relieve the tension of the room?
Some sexy moves.
Right,
I've got an embarrassing story. Let's get on with this. Kate Buffton.
Kate Buffton? Kate Buffton there. Hello, Kate. Hello.
The best bit of this is the name of the play. Performing in the 1960s play Spring and Port Wine. my kind of play.
Spring Port.
My skirt fell down on stage, exposing my arse to parents, brackets, and the vicar.
Were you performing this play in a 70s sitcom?
Please tell me the vicar's not a pseudonym for something.
I did the first laugh I ever got on stage. I was at the, not the last.
Oh, we don't want to hear about your gig tonight, mate. But
It's very zingy tonight, this, isn't it?
I was in a production of Nicholas Nickleby, the first and only ever stage production, because our school didn't ask for the rights, because we didn't give an F. And it's too long. In my death scene as Smike,
Oh, spoiler alert. Seeing it next week. Spike dies. Oh.
In a very moving scene, which my drama teacher's dad described as ascending to professional acting, I sort of hunched over in death, and the crowd burst out laughing, and I didn't understand why. It's this sort of 100 parents and teachers, and I'd forgotten to remove my fashionable Calvin Klein boxers. So Victorian Smike had died with just one spot on him that had lit up the line Calvin Klein.
Ivo, one more.
Oh, are we not going into Spring and Port Wine a bit further?
I want to know what Spring and Port
Yeah.
Wine's about.
Sorry.
What's it about? What's the plot of Spring and Port Wine, Bufton?
Is it Laurie Lee? Is that the author? I remember.
That Side with Rosie didn't
that's
base
Side
them
with
all
Rosie.
on booze.
Sorry. Obviously. It's about a girl who won't eat herring for dinner.
That old theatrical cliche.
I think that's a euphemism. But she'll go for the beans. Once prepped.
So the girl won't eat herring for dinner? Because the subtext is she might be pregnant. Wow.
Go on, tell us. We're never going to see it. Is she pregnant?
You never find out.
It's like Inception.
But shit.
Conception.
And so...
Absolutely,
Excellent work.
entirely justified. But weirdly, only
so
from this
what
side of the
happened-
room.
Yeah.
So, on what point did your trousers fall down?
Well, halfway in's fine. It's the interval. It's fine if your trousers fall down. I was watching you.
The local creepy old
The vicar.
man?
Tin of beans at the ready.
It's going to be a very special harvest festival.
Can't wait to tell my mother about this erection.
Ivo, one more?
Yeah, one more. This is quite. The name is funny. The name's Anouk,
Oh,
which
name-
presumably this isn't given in by your 1-year-old daughter.
No.
Nanook. Anouk or Nanook?
Anouk.
Anouk, the name of Neil's daughter. So Neil's shitting himself that this is like...
His daughter sent an anecdote in
but have you
already.
mentioned it on
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, yeah, it doesn't show her in a great light, to be fair. Asking my mum what fucking meant, because another kid at school told me to go fuck my mum.
Look, let's be honest. We all know that's Dawson under a pseudonym.
Wow. I don't even know if we need to go into that. I mean, I think that's...
Lovely stuff.
I think that
from
draws
a
the line.
1-year-old, that is a great anecdote.
My brother did a similar thing, but like he suggested he suggested yeah, all right, mate. He suggested fuck off. He didn't know that was a bad word. He suggested fuck off as an answer in my mum's crossword she was doing.
Did it fit?
He knew how many letters were in it, but I didn't know what it
So
meant.
what was the question?
I can't remember, but it was something, you know, it's just...
Thing to do with beans.
I opened it up.
4-3.
I opened it up to the room, and he just out loud said, fuck off. She went, right, everyone else leave the room, I'm going to talk to Stephen.
Can everyone else fuck off?
I got told off for the first time by my parents for swearing, and it was during a game of chess. and I lost my bishop and out loud just went, "Oh, fuck."
Right. Now, there'll be more of them, Ivo, once you've sorted through the pile.
Oh, okay, yep.
But,
Well, you're getting off light there, didn't you?
Until then, John Robbins, you host on now Saturday mornings on XFM. One of your features, Sacred Cow, in which you debate whether a classic band should be anointed into the field of sacred cows.
Yes, I've just had a text from my co-host. Oh, I can't read it out. I was going to say, shall I read this text from Ellis as if he's here, but it's inappropriate. So, sorry, should have mentioned that. Kept it. No.
Sat at home with a tin of beans. You won't believe what happens next.
So,
Tell your mum.
Do you not blue tack the rim so it doesn't? No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't it?
What I don't get is how you would expect to get any friction from beans.
Let's move on from shagging the beans.
They'll be spilling out, right? They'll be spilling out.
Yeah,
you just have balls covered in beans.
Unless he was doing press-ups onto it.
Can we stop?
It's really...
That was a little reference.
Do you remember the
to anyone
heyday of the
who
Iraq
heard
War
yesterday's
satire? Seems a long time ago now.
John.
So this week, are you going to nominate the band?
Yeah, the band. So you go through classic bands.
Yeah. So for example, in the Paddock we have Sex Pistols. Excuse me. That was a bit of Shandy Windy Pops.
That's lucky because to the listener at home, it sounds like you turned into a cartoon tortoise.
Yeah. Or there's a couple of hipsters going, "I've never heard of the band Burp."
So, for example, in the Paddock we have
Oasis.
Blur, controversially. Sex Pistols, controversially.
The XFM playlist, essentially.
Yes. In the Paddock we have Prince.
In the abattoir.
In the abattoir we have Prince and U2. So, who would you this week, Josh,
I would like
to nominate?
I would like to nominate for discussion a band called the Wow Scenario.
What? Have you lost your mind?
Now, people, has anyone here heard of the Wow Scenario? James?
Yes.
Who are the Wow Scenario?
The Wild Scenario are Graham Wicks and James Acaster, and they were a band in existence in Kettering between 2004 and 2007.
So this was your band before you became a comedian?
Very much so, Josh, and I took it a lot more seriously than I should have.
What genre of music did you guys operate in?
Experimental jazz pop.
Do we want to hear some Wow Scenario?
Well,
yes, please.
Do you want to first? I've grabbed some stuff off Rolling Stone of their sort of top 10 bands of all time article. And if you want to hear a bit about them before hearing
let's hear a bit about them before then.
Sounds about right.
The Wow! Scenario.
Exclamation mark in the middle. That's amazing.
Who does that?
Godspeed You Black Emperor and The Wow Scenario. Yeah. The Wow Scenario were a two-piece...
The Go Team.
Yes,
Not funny,
correct.
The Go Team is another
Let's
one.
have accuracy over humour.
Whatever happened to the Go Team?
They're still going, mate.
Still making videos.
They're fucking
Great band.
brilliant.
Are we sure they didn't go the way of the Wow Scenario?
What, into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Thank you.
So let's take us through the Wow Scenario for people that...
The Wow Scenario were a two-piece experimental pop group formed in Kettering in 2004 from the ashes of post-hardcore heroes Three-Line Whip. Just to let you know, this is an absolute goldmine of terrible band names. Graham Wicks, formerly of Children of the Teeth. Not finished yet.
Their album strap in, that is the least funny one.
Children of the Teeth. I think I'm going to be sick.
It's like you're describing a bad dream. I was in class and then the Children of the Teeth turned up.
It also turns out you don't need helium to get Widdicombe's voice to that pitch. Just mention an old Acaster band name.
So you weren't in Children of the Teeth?
I was not in Children of the Teeth.
Were they good?
They were a hardcore band. They were pretty good. All their songs were about a minute long and were about not following the rules.
Their album was all fillers, yeah?
Very good.
There he is. He doesn't speak much, but when he does, it's fucking good. Ollie Gunnar-Solskjaer, ladies and gentlemen.
I nearly made a terrible tooth joke.
What was it?
I'll make it.
Yeah.
Do it.
And they had very incisive guitars.
Fucking
wow. Awful puns, the list. That's an actual quote from a review I got this year. So, well, we have already got to their first...
Sorry, it's just that guy has been leaning over to see James for quite a while. And he finally gets to see what he looks like.
It's like Blind Date, mate.
So
you could have had.
We're still in the early formation of the band. Graham Wicks, formerly of Children of the Teeth, the new hardcore skiffle movement, and the Capri Sun Quartet. I mean, you summed up the voice of a generation.
We all really liked Capri Sun.
You weren't a tribute band to Orange Juice then?
If only.
I mean, not that funny, but right, come on, not that funny, but
in the Capri
it's
Sun,
a deep cut that people are going to enjoy.
You were in none of these bands,
I was in the Capri Sun Quartet and the new hardcore skiffle movement.
Oh.
And Capri Sun Quartet, we all had individual names where we had
like the Spice Girls?
Yeah, like the Spice Girls, where we would have our middle name as our first name, and the surname would be a flavour of Capri Sun. So I was William Strawberry.
And he's in tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Who were the other ones?
Ian Forest Fruits.
Ross Blackcurrant.
Richard Umbongo.
That's not a flavour of Capri Sun.
He just really hated Capri Sun.
Yeah.
He was the rebel of the gang.
Jacqueline Orange. Anyway.
Did you have, at your gigs, did you have a squash pit?
Lovely.
Absolutely welcome.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, don't take the pith out of the band.
Yeah.
That one was the last straw.
Yeah.
Oh. Can we move on? That wasn't one. That was just genuinely, can we move on?
We know that wasn't one. Can we move on? I'm not doing fruit puns,
isn't it?
There's such faith in Josh in the room that everyone would be going, it must have been a joke. All through James's story.
We probably just haven't eaten a move fruit. That's he knows what he's talking about.
So, and James Acaster, formerly of Pindrop, Charlotte's Own, and the Capri Sun Quartet.
Charlotte's Own.
Charlotte's Own band I was in at school. We only played the prom, and it was named after... We didn't know this. Everyone else in the band just thought it was just a nice name, but the lead singer, who was a girl called Samantha, named it after a popular girl she didn't like. And then they had a fight in the changing rooms over the name, where one of them scratched the other one's face really badly, and it had scratched face throughout the whole of prom. Brilliant band.
Why would you name your band after someone you didn't like?
Because I think she really wanted a fight, and she got what she wanted.
Shall we hear a song and then talk about their first gig?
Yes. So can we hear some of the...
What song are we playing, Neil? Which one?
We'll find out when we play it.
I just want to know the name of the song.
That far.
James, how would you describe this music?
Life-changing.
Can we hear some WoW Scenario, please?
Oh, it's Instructions to the Wizard's Castle. Reverse guitars to begin with.
Sounds like Mogwai.
Thank you very much, John. Listen to the drums.
Skeletons stop shaking when silence starts to sing. It's these social situations you guide yourself in.
Drumming.
Whoever makes this look
Quite derivative of Children of the Teeth, really.
confidently, she interrogated me. Wow, trying to push me into another new so long. There wasn't any need to change it.
Tough listen.
Oh, it's not easy, mate.
Is that you singing?
I may also be singing. Not a good singer.
I think Well, scenario.
Yeah.
Technically, that was life-changing in that it made you decide to be a comedian.
It sounds like a sort of cross between Mogwai and Gorky's, which is amazing because it was only 7 years after the formation of those bands. So in many ways, you were ahead of, so...
You know, in that early section of the show, the fans will know that anyone can play guitar. It'd be a great one for James, a few years down the line.
Try and play guitar.
No, it was celebrities that have released singles.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, because it was yeah.
Anyway.
We move on to their first gig. Their first gig was at the Northampton Picturedrome.
Oh, terrible gig.
Now, every comedian will cry when you say those words because it's the worst gig that has ever happened. It's the only place where I have ever died as a compere, which is a fucking horrible scenario. Because you have to die every time you come back on.
I actually got an email after I did a gig at the Northampton Picturedrome, which said that I was one of the best compares the guy had ever seen, but it was then followed by the quote, despite what everyone else seemed to think.
Imagine doing a gig in a Wetherspoons where the audience are made up of people for whom Wetherspoons is too classic. The first gig at the Northampton Picturedrome, now home to one of the country's most revered stand-up comedy gigs, was host to the first performance of the Wow scenario. The boys would be supporting Northampton legends, the Retro Spankees.
We all know the Retros, right? We all know the Retros.
The gig was underattended, and most of the audience did not listen to them. It's a very much similar experience to all comics, apart from the fact it's always full. In a desperate attempt to find their audience, the boys got stickers made that read, quote, "That's Wow for now," and, quote, "The Wow scenario, we do."
So Richard Hammond ripped off your idea. Is that what
totally, mate.
The latter being a deliberately obscure slogan the band was trying to establish in order to attract the right people to their gigs. The right people being those who didn't fear what they didn't understand. That is such a great mission statement.
It went really well.
After a long night running around Kettering on his own, putting stickers on bins, roadsides and lampposts, Graham was apprehended by the police and made to remove all the stickers with warm soapy water. Not dissimilarly to the guerrilla advertisers who used my posters in Edinburgh this year. Were made too, after the council were contacted. Hashtag Ed Fringe. Do you want to hear another song? Do you want to hear some more?
How much? Let's hear the rest of the description, then we'll finish with the song.
In 2007, which is very recent.
Yep, this was the year before I started stand-up in 2008. So, the end of the Wow scenario really drove me to some heavy shit.
In 2007, the band ran out of steam and decided... Because they'd been
Why
full
does
of
that make you
steam.
laugh so much, Ivo?
He's imagined the band was steam-powered.
All
That's what
very funny. It's all very funny.
In 2007, the band ran out of steam and decided to go their separate ways, but not before recording a 17-track studio album entitled Stand in the Star, a Verse and a Chorus, named after the instructions given to every contestant on TV's Pop Idol. The duo lived...
17 tracks.
17 tracks, 71 minutes long.
Did you have skit interludes like rap albums?
Nope. Every single one of those was a song, Ivo. It's a very, very long and hard listen.
Can I ask what some of the song titles were, James?
Some of the song titles, Write It Down, Mrs. Brown, Bamboozled Panfish.
Fuck, you're making those up.
No, the real names. Operating on the 49th vibration. A fridge full of fudge.
Fucking the beans. That was another one.
yeah. Bean fucker. Glad the golf socks fit like feet gloves. Good song title.
That's a great song title.
These all sound like lines from your Edinburgh show.
The duo, this is an insight into the recording of the 17-track album, and anyone familiar with Captain Beefheart will know where they've got their recording tactics from. The duo lived in a recording studio in Hawley for a month, sleeping on the floor in sleeping bags, mainly eating cuppa soup and cheesy rice.
Captain Beefheart, when he recorded Trout Mask Replica.
He imprisoned the band in a recording studio for a month, and they lived on beans, and he gave them like $1 a day, and they created one of the greatest albums of all time. Stand in the Star, a verse and a chorus, had a similar effect. So I nominate them for the Paddock because it's the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life.
Shall we hear? Have we got one more track?
Yeah, we've got one
Just to
more.
finish off on the wild scenario. One more track from the wild scenario, please.
Oh,
Where am I?
is this Fridge Full of Fudge?
No, this is Bon Voyage at Michu Royale.
Sounds like a massage CD.
Yeah.
My favourite type of music is music that sounds like it might be a mistake.
Now that does sound like Trout Mask.
Yeah. Lovely. Lovely, right?
It's a long intro.
God, I'm crazy every time I sing it.
I think that's enough of the wild scenario.
He's just started singing.
Yeah,
sorry.
well, we are
Singing's the
under time
worst bit,
pressures,
mate.
and
Like-
fucking hell, it
like
takes
no-
long to get into those songs.
No, right, no bullshit. That sounds fucking incredible.
You love it.
I really do like it. Do you-
Well, but-
can I have a CD?
Am I being set up for a joke?
No, literally, you're not. I've got
Seems at the minute,
shitty
it seems,
taste
it
in
seems at
music.
the minute that I'm going to go, yeah, do you want to go? We can shove it up your ass. In front of
Right,
everyone.
let's take it to a vote. Now, if you... we're going to have a vote whether they should be in the Paddock as one of the greatest bands of all time. I mean, it seems academic now, really, doesn't it?
I'm going for it.
Or whether
Yeah,
we're
go for
going
it.
to
I
rule
really
against
enjoyed what I
them.
heard.
Anyone in the audience?
As a
Matt,
terrible-
come on.
Hands up if they're in the
Yeah,
Paddock.
hands up if they're in the Paddock.
Okay.
That's not bad.
And hands up in the abattoir.
Abattoir. They were a poor imitation
And
of the
they have
Capri Sun
made it into the
Quartet.
Paddock.
They've gone to the Paddock, yes!
Who knew? Who knew?
And that, James, brings us on to our final section, which is...
Wait, guys, by the way, we are having a listening party afterwards. If you all want to come along, there'll be beanbags and drums. It's going to be really chilled out.
But,
really
Don't say bean around that guy.
and now,
beanbags himself.
Henry Packer has arrived. Henry Packer. Round of applause for Henry Packer, who has arrived because James Acaster is about to do his final scrape. Each week you bring us a scrape that you've been into in your life.
Henry, it's that song.
Kind of embarrassing things that happen to you, like the WoW scenario. Henry Packer will draw this while you are doing it, and then we will give the drawing away to the best anecdote of the evening from a person, which is clearly Jason the erection in PE.
Yep.
Or is it fucking the beans, which I don't think happened?
Fucking the beans. This sounds so much like a...
Well, we will come to that.
Stronger.
James, what is the scrape you have for us on this final live performance?
So, this happened a couple of years ago, and it doesn't show me in a particularly good light, but I'm still quite proud of myself. So,
I opened a tin of beans.
Yeah. I've been out with Josh actually, and some other people, and I got very drunk. Very drunk, and
Lads
in town, right? And I got the night bus home. I live in London, and I got on the night bus.
Josh
and
was away
normally-
stealing a night with someone, presumably.
It's 2 a.m. I'll take anything. Acaster's gone, so it's all fine. Helium, no use to me, mate.
So I was on a night bus on my own, and I normally keep myself to myself on a night bus. I don't really do much. I'm quite a nice, timid person. But on this particular, I remember at one point turning to the girl next to me and asking her where we were, and she told me to shut up and not speak to her. So I hadn't started out very friendly.
What
And
kind of time was this? Like 3
this was
a.m.?
like pretty late, 3 or 4. And then a group of about 10 lads got on the bus, and they were proper lads as well. And they all got on, and Ivo was, as usual, the ringleader. And come on, lads, don't be afraid to let your hair down.
My catchphrase.
Yep. And bus was full. There were no seats left. So the lads just stood in the aisle of the bus. They were all eating chips and really loudly shouting. You know, they just take over the whole bus. and everyone else went very quiet and scared, and they were shouting very loud. And at one point, one of the lads started shouting about his friend, going, "What's that, Robert? You want to suck a dick, mate? Hey, everyone on the bus. Robert here wants to suck a dick. There's nothing Robert likes more than sucking dicks really, really, really loud." And then Robert went, shut up, Alistair. And then I said...
Were you sat among the lads?
I was sat, they were kind of like, as far from me as this gentleman is here. They were kind of like, I was in that bit of the bus.
10 foot.
Yeah, about there. So that's where Alistair was.
15.
I love it when big groups of lads are immediately made less menacing by their names.
Yeah, Alistair.
I got beaten up by these big guys, Robert and Alistair.
Yeah. So he said, "Shut up, Alistair." And I thought in my head this was funny before I said it. I thought this was funny and the lads would all think it was funny. So he said, "Shut up, Alistair." And I went, "Yeah, Alistair, you want to watch your mouth."
Oh!
Wow.
I think that was a funny joke, right? And they all just looked at me and they went, and then they just carried on. So I thought, brilliant. I can keep doing this.
Don't mess with him. He's the guy from the WoW scenario.
They didn't respect the rules of music. They won't respect the rules of the bus. So I thought I'd just carry on doing it. So I carried on doing it all night, all the time on the bus. Every time Alistair said something really loud, I'd do a quip, always involving his name and quite loud. So at one point, Alistair went, "There's too much sauce on these fucking chips." And I went, "Classic Alistair." Really loud. At one point, the girl next to me...
How many times did you do this?
A lot. I was doing it a lot. Every time he was saying a lot of
And
things.
did you think
really
it was
loud.
going down well?
Yeah, I thought the lads think this is funny. I'm amusing myself. No victims. I'll just get off the bus in a minute and it'll be fine. So I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I thought we're all having a lovely time. And then the girl who was sitting next to me, who, let's bear in mind, hated me at the beginning of the trip, turned to me and went, "You might want to shut up," like concerned for me. And I went, "Why? I'm not scared of Alistair. He looks like he's about 16. And that was what tipped him over the edge. And he kind of come over to me, stood right in front of me, and went, "What the fuck did you say, mate?"
He was 18. Legal,
Yeah.
Legal fuck beans.
I've been fucking beans for 2 years. Came over to me and he went, "What the fuck did you say?" And but because I was so like, I've been trying to get his attention for ages, and so I was so happy that he was finally paying me attention. So I just I went, "I just said you look 16, Alistair." And he went, "I'll show you who the fuck looks 16. And I went, "How are you going to do that?" Just going to get a line of people and be like, "He's 16, he looks 16, but he's not. He's big for his age."
Did you have any fear in you at this point?
No, at this point, no fear whatsoever. Just thinking, me and Alistair were now like a really funny double act, and we're having a little laugh with a couple of mates. And then he went, "No, I'm going to drag you out the bus by your teeth and kick your fucking head in." Right, and then he started really...
He was a child of the teeth.
No, jam a Capri Sun in your fucking face. You better hear a pin drop, mate. So he started graphically describing how he was going to beat me up. So I'm going to take you out, so I'm going to stamp on your eyes, and then smash your head against the curb, all this stuff. And at this point, it was the funniest thing I'd ever heard in my life, in my head. So he was telling all this graphic stuff, and I was really laughing. I was doubled over. I was really laughing about it, so much so that his friend intervened, put his hand on Alistair's chest and went, "Alistair, you might want to back off, mate. This bloke looks mental."
James, can I just... how close were you to home at this point?
I don't. At this point, it's the number 29 bus, if you're familiar with it. I don't know where
I
I was
got
during
maced
this.
on the number 29 bus.
Sorry?
I once got maced on the number
You got
29.
maced?
Classic Alistair.
What was it? Was it by Cheryl Cole?
I bet James had gone way past his home just to keep up the banter.
Classic bants with him.
It's not a nice story, actually.
What, you were talking to this girl, and then things moved on, and the police came after she called them?
No, I got on. It was one of those bendy buses, and and I was getting a lift back into London from a comedian that from Wrexham. He was late for the gig because he was doubling up with Liverpool, which isn't a satisfactory double up. Not going to name him. And he dropped us. He was a London driver. Apparently, he dropped us in Enfield, which for anyone from London isn't fucking London. So we had to get the N29 at 4 a.m. and some youths got on and maced the whole bus.
What? You're joking?
Really? No, I'm not. No. I don't know why I brought this up, because it's actually a really horrible story.
It's a horrible story, yeah. Well, it was worth it for us getting to hear you use the phrase, some youths got on.
Some rapscallions.
And they thought what they do is they spray mace, everyone wouldn't be able to breathe, and then they got off at the next stop, meaning that we'd have to get off and then they'd mug us. But what they hadn't accounted for was the fact it was a bendy bus, so we just walked down the front.
Beat the system.
1-0 to the educated.
I used to fall asleep on the night bus home a lot, and I would end up right out by the M25, and I lived in Ealing, and the bus driver said to me, this is the stop where muggers wait for people who've fallen asleep with their phones in their hand. They run on and grab it.
Oh, my God.
And I got off.
Nelson!
And I got off, and he was driving the bus back into London. So I said, can I just stay on the bus? And he said, no. And this was at 4 a.m. He said, you have to wait. And I watched him drive the bus around the corner, wait at the next bus stop for half an hour. And I had to stand outside the bus for half an hour. And then he opened the doors. I got on and said, single back, hi. And then we drove off. Absolutely ludicrous.
Bloody ticking boxes. Life, eh? Where were we?
So,
I'm glad you told that, because it did bring us round from my awkward macing story that created an odd energy in the room. No.
And we're back there.
Sorry.
Fun fact, mace is based on hot sauce. Carry on.
James, rescue us.
okay, so
There wasn't any hot sauce on his chips.
I was on the night bus. At this point, I'm laughing at him while he threatens me. His friend says to him, Alistair, you might want to back off. This bloke looks mental. To which I said, yeah, Alistair, I wouldn't mess with me. I'm from the projects. If you know where the project... I'm not from the projects. Very from the projects.
Unless it was a geography project.
Yeah. In which case, I'm very much from them forever. But I turned to the girl next to me to be like, hey, wasn't that projects line really funny? And she had gone. She wasn't there anymore. And all 10 of the lads had formed a horseshoe around me. So
Lucky.
that I was...
Lucky.
Now we're back on classic Widdicombe terrain.
Horseshoes, much more.
Yeah.
So they were just like that. And one of the lads was like holding 2 of those poles in the bus, so I couldn't get out. And when I looked at him, he went, don't you fucking look at me, you just face the fucking front. And I faced the front, and as soon as I did it, I'd lost. I snapped out of my this is funny, and I was really scared. I was just like, oh no, this is not, actually this is a much worse situation than I thought. There's 10 of them. And they started saying stuff like, you're not laughing anymore. Oh yeah. And I was still replying to them, but just like, very honestly, just going, no, I'm not laughing. This is, I really regret everything I've done so far, and I'm kind of starting to see this for what it has been, and this is looking very bad for me. And so the way I decided to get out, because they started, they were looking, I faked a phone call. I pretended like my phone was vibrating in my pocket, and then I answered it, and I started, how I thought I'd get out. I started going, yeah, all right, mate, yeah, no, 29, yeah, on the 29. Yeah, there's about 10 of them. Yeah. Oh yeah, bring that guy. Yeah, bring him. Like I'm rallying my troops. Just getting everyone from the projects to come and help me.
The only way that could have been better is if you'd gone, oh, hey, the police.
So do you think? You looked like you do now.
I looked exactly like this.
You're wearing a Scrape Master
It's a Scrape
t-shirt.
Master t-shirt. They knew. They're like, this is a classic Scrape, mate, by the way. We really hate to beat the shit out of you in a minute, but this is going to make a great anecdote. So.
He had a microphone as well, which is good because they're standing in a horseshoe. So it's like theatre in the round.
Pass it around.
What were you wearing? Like, did you look threatening in any way?
No, I looked at... You know how I normally look?
Yeah.
Yeah, I look like that. It was pretty bad. And
by the way, nothing less sexy than what are you wearing in Widdicombe's accent.
Yeah.
Cheryl Cole is not in for a good phone call later on.
You're on the bus.
Are you alone, Cheryl? Do you look like you normally look?
Tell me what kind of beans they are.
The ones with the pork sausages in them. Wow, come on.
Right, James, get on with the story.
Come on, guys.
I am
Come
like
on.
Dawson in PE right now. I am like Dawson in PE.
Yeah, so I was faking the phone call, and as I was doing that, they started to actually get distracted and start looking at each other and go, who the fuck are you talking to? Who are you talking to? At which point I got confident again, and I went like that to one of them while I was
For people
talking.
listening,
Just put my finger in the air, like, excuse me a second, I'm just talking to my associates who are going to duff you up. So,
Duff you up!
duff you back to the Stone Age, mate.
Sorry, Alistair, do you want a knuckle sandwich?
Yeah.
You bunch of youths.
So that kind of like distracted them enough. And we were on the bottom deck, and we got to a bus stop, and underneath the arms of the guy who like was holding the poles, so I could see the doors. And so like we stopped, and the doors like hissed open, and then when they hissed closed, I basically when I was on the phone, I was like, yeah, bring that guy, and then just kind of jumped into like a U shape under his arm, leading mainly with my head, like a salmon jumps. Under and really high in the air, towards. From the moment I left under his arm, I didn't touch the floor. I was jumping as I was going through the air. One of them attempted to kick me in the head, and I dodged it in midair.
Sorry, was this the Matrix?
Were you going on
Bear in
bullet
mind,
time?
I was very drunk. It may have seemed cooler in my head now. Leaping through the air, and I went through the doors as they were closing. They closed behind me. I landed on the other side of the doors. And here's an image of a man who's not learnt his lesson. As soon as I landed, I just went... on the other side, just arms splayed like, yeah, fuck you. And then it drove off, and then I realised there was another bus stop about 20 seconds down the street. I just ran into an alley and ran home and got away with it. But when I woke up in the morning...
That is an amazing different side to James Acaster when he drinks.
Yeah, I wasn't, as I said, not showing me in a good light, but, you know... Still a scrape, isn't it? That's still a scrape.
That's a genuine scrape.
That is a genuine scrape.
That's the difference between a scrape apprentice and a scrape master.
Round of applause
Nish
to James
Kumar.
Acaster! Now, to end the show, Henry Packer, who is not just a comedian but an excellent artist.
Can I also just say, The Guardian described Henry Packer as the touchstone for modern comedy.
Wow!
And he would never say that about himself, but I genuinely agree. And I was very moved when I read it. It's true.
Was that in our review?
Yes.
Ah.
So when you look at me, you think touchstone?
I think touchstone, which...
The touchstone for modern comedy, 3 stars.
What is a touchstone? Is it what is
As
it
in,
good?
you are the stone
That you
that
would
all of us will go to touch,
To touch.
before going to our gigs.
Like the beginning of 2001 with the monkeys. Is it like that?
I've never seen 2001.
No. They all touch this big
Stone.
and then they can do stuff like make fire and things like that. Is that Packer?
And does the stone get a really good review from the Guardian?
Yeah, they say it's like Henry Packer.
Now, Henry, the touchstone in modern illustration you have drawn. So do you want to present this to the audience? This is a drawing of James's scrape to end the show. I think this should go to Jason, who got an erection in PE
Yes,
at the age
Jason
of 8.
and his erection.
Should we sit on the stairs like a sort of a fun album
bunch of
cover for
boys.
the WoW scenario?
The WoW scenario mainly did their photos outside power stations, mate.
Urban.
Wearing, also in all our photos, we would wear, our friend's mum made us grey T-shirts with black shirt collars sewn in and Velcro ties that are Velcroed on and off. We wore them on stage and in photo shoots. Nice little outfits. Did I say outfits? I meant wow fits. That's what we called them. We actually called them that.
Henry.
Okay, so I started off just by doing some warm-up poodles.
One of them's wearing a fez!
Yep.
One of them smoking a cigarette, which is wrong.
So we've got shady-looking poodle, smoking with the shifty eyes. We've got poodle in the fez, standard poodle, and a sort of futuristic poodle. He's got a jetpack and he's some sort of weapon. They're just warm-up poodles, though. And because this is on the radio, isn't it? We can say that these are really, really brilliant pictures of poodles. Okay, so what? Ah, yes. So this is. So that's James, who's sweating and nervous, and these are what he considers to be lads. So there's a Victorian child holding a massive lolly, and there's a man in a sort of tweed suit, a bow tie, holding a pocket watch and wearing a pith helmet.
Classic Alistair.
And James is sweating in fear. Okay, what's this?
Man over there, can you not see? Do you want to come and sit? Oh, come on. Anyone who can't see. All right, I don't want to get blind people involved.
Henry, do you want to just move back into that gap, just so there's a bit more?
Yes.
Sounds like my love life.
So this is...
That guy can see even less now.
Henry, you're going to pull that?
I'm creating a classic sort of slapstick thing with the...
The touchstone of modern comedy.
The touchstone of modern poodle drawing. Yeah. So this one was... I don't know if you can work out what this one is.
This is Asda.
It's now quite weird that this bloke is crouching with us. Can you nip back to your seat? Is that all right?
Oh,
Cheers, mate.
he looks
Thank you.
like... Whoa!
Wow.
Crosby!
Banished.
Jeez Louise.
Mate, do you want to swap seats with me?
I like that he was wearing a blue T-shirt saying "The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy." It says that was his catchphrase.
Crosby losing his title of Man of the People.
Henry.
So basically, there was a slight sort of lull in the narrative. No offense. It wasn't sort of touchstone level at that point.
Yeah.
Lull in the narrative was a WoW scenario song.
There was lull in the narrative, so I just like to imagine what a WoW scenario might be.
Yes.
So this is a Viking on fire in Asda. And so customers are indeed going wow. And obviously, I've made it clear that it's Asda using the power of drawing. Yes. So this. At that point, Josh hadn't specified the type of mace. I assumed you'd run into some people on the way back from a medieval battle reenactment who'd had a few too many. That's just being mace. Oh yeah. So this was a lull.
Ivo's just gone to the toilet.
Okay. This is an 18-year-old having sex with a can of beans, I think.
We should just give that to him, shouldn't we? Jason shouldn't.
I think
Yeah, just take that one off now. Give it to the
that's a
bean.
can opener, which he was very pleased because he remembered where it was, so he was able to. Yes. So this is James coming from the project. He's leaving a series of school projects. This is the classic go-to school project, which is a sculpture of a volcano. This is a diagram to the Oxbow Lake. That's a map of France. That's a diagram of a stalactite, and that is a sort of a cube full of ants. I think that's a project. So this last one, to be honest, may have been an error of judgment, but this last one is supposed to be a can of beans being had sex with from the point of view of the beans.
What I love is the listeners at home will have no fucking idea what we're looking at right now.
All I'm saying is that penis needs to be seen by Lydia's mum.
I don't think that is a penis.
That is unbelievable.
To be honest, it is famously, it's one of the most challenging things for a cartoonist to draw a penis entering a can of beans from the perspective of the bean. So the fact that it's even close, I'm happy with. And I think that is your lot.
Could you cover it back over? Henry Packer, the touchstone for modern comedy. Jason Dawson, when you're leaving, come down and collect your drawings, even if you don't want the last one.
The other thing as well is I want to get rid of all these books. So apart from the Cheryl Cole one, I'm keeping that one. So I feel bad because I was rude to that bloke. So which one do you want? Richard Hammond, John Barrowman, Jerry Halliwell, Cliff Richard, Lauren Goodyear, another Richard Hammond.
Thank you very much, everyone. The books will be there. Do you want to? We'll put them out, and you can take the books.
And Bean Man gets his bean drawing.
Bean Man gets his bean drawing. Jason gets the other drawings. Help yourself. Can we have a massive round of applause for all the guests tonight? And as a thank you for coming along, they can plug their shows. If you want to go and see them in their own right, Ivo has just got back, and you will never know what a penis looks like from the perspective of a can of beans.
Yes, you will.
Nish Kumar?
My show, Ruminations on the Nature of Subjectivity. Yes, I know it's a bad title. 7:15, Pleasance Courtyard. Oh, come on.
John Robbins.
This Tornado Loves You. Yes, I know it's a really cool title because it's taken from a Nico K song, so I'm cool. At 9:45. Thank you. At 9:45 at the Pleasance Courtyard. Don't come dressed as a jockey because I will have you and your stag do thrown out. Tough month.
Ivo Graham?
But my show's called Bow Ties and Johnnies, and it's on at 8:15 at the Pleasance. It's fine. It's on 8:15 at the Pleasance Courtyard, and I'm very sorry. I really needed to go.
James Acaster.
My show is called Recognise. It's on at 8 o'clock in the Pleasance Courtyard.
Henry Packer.
My name is Henry. Hello. My show is called Henry Packer Unpacked, which is a real touchstone of surname puns. And it's on at the Pleasance Bunker at 9:35.
Thank you to everyone involved. Thank you to XFM for putting this on. Thank you to the Assembly for having us and not punishing us for overrunning every night we've done it. Thank you for you all for coming.
And a big round of applause for Josh Widdicombe, who's helmed all 4 of these shows.
Thank you very much. We will probably do it again sometime because we've had the best 4 days ever. Thank you very much. Cheers. Good night.
The Josh Widdicombe XFM podcast. Live.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.